Welcome to the Service Drive Revolution podcast with your hosts, Chris, the Bulldog Collins, and Gary Daniel, the G-Man.
Welcome, everybody, to Service Drive Revolution, the home for anybody who has a service drive, needs advisor training, a little positive reinforcement, tips on how to run a parts department, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
No, not really.
No.
It's an exaggeration.
I love parts.
How are you doing?
I'm feeling a little bit, if you can hear the crack in my
We
voice.
missed last week. We were sick.
I'm not going through puberty. I feel a little
We
under the
almost
weather.
died.
I know. It's crazy.
You'd have to almost kill us before we wouldn't do our Service Drive Revolution.
I know.
We almost died.
I don't think you or I have missed a day at work in
So here's
years.
the thing that our crack smoking doctor does now is they won't give you antibiotics, so they give you this thing called Tamiflu.
Yeah, Tamiflu.
It doesn't work.
No.
It's a joke. I'm of the theory that stuff is a sugar pill.
I think so too. It
Or what do
doesn't
they call that
anything.
when it's like a fake pill? It's a
Placebo?
Yeah, that's a placebo.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
I just got sicker and sicker. The more Tamiflu I took.
I don't know if
they put the flu virus in there.
it might have made it worse because my wife didn't take it and she got over it in like 3 days.
Yeah,
And I
I
did.
don't
It took me
get
2
it.
weeks.
We're still hacking.
I know.
We were
bad.
hacking at the gym this morning.
Yeah, that was
pretty funny.
interesting.
Back at the gym.
Yeah. I don't know that I've worked out sick before in my life. So it was
felt
kind of
good.
interesting. It did feel
'Cause
great.
I felt like I was like withering away.
Oh, man. I came in this
My
morning.
arms are going to be like tiny. What am I going to do?
Oh, man. With my unusually small arms.
Yeah. So the topic today is customer anxiety, which is a great topic.
It is.
We're going to teach you how to stress out your customers and run them away, or how to keep them and not have them stressed out. And the reason why this subject is important is because in service, different than just about any other industry, it's unique. The sale and the retention is based on trust.
Yeah.
And so the anxiety leads to no trust or lots of trust. It leads to a relationship or to, like the surveys always say, I always love that survey, like they liken going to service like going to the dentist.
Right.
So you have a choice. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah. How much anxiety is
Anxiety.
that? Going to the dentist. Jeez.
It's crazy.
Yeah. No thanks.
I went, so what's the last fun thing I did is I went down to Stone Brewery in San Diego for a little research for our book that we're writing. It's like a business novel, and ends up the star of the book inherits a brewery and he's got to fix it and turn it around. Would you call it like a business novel?
Yeah, I think of
50
business
Shades
novel,
of Business is basically what it is. It's an edgy.
It's going to be edgy.
book. A lot of people probably aren't going to like it, but I don't care. It's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Stone Brewery. What an operation!
Yeah. What'd you think? You don't like beer either. I mean, you're not a beer fan.
Well, no, beer doesn't like me.
Oh.
So I don't know. Years ago, I was at a doctor's appointment and they're showing me the glycemic index of things, and so I'm a type O negative and I'm Irish. So I shouldn't be eating carbs, which I eat way too many carbs and drink way too much. But a potato. So a potato is like a straight carb, right?
Right.
Is there anything carbier than a potato?
Pasta maybe, but I don't know.
Pasta's even less, I think.
Really?
I think, yeah.
Wow.
Potato is like 80%.
I'm sure somebody will fact check that for us.
It's like 80% on the glycemic index. Beer is 120.
Wow.
Well, then all that yeast and you get candida.
Yeah.
And you're tired. I did drink a bunch of beer that day, though.
I'd never heard the word candida until I started working with you. I don't even know what that was.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It makes you tired. It makes you lethargic. So, we went down there and we did a tour of it. And it's crazy, like that, how much beer they make.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I guess they just opened a couple other ones and they opened one in like Germany or somewhere too. But their beer is really good.
Yeah.
And the tour is cool. Like, it's an experience. Like, they do a good job. But they're like pointing at one at, like, there's just rows of these, tanks, I guess you'd call them. I don't know. Distills? Are they stills?
No,
Whatever
I think
they
it's
are.
tanks. Yeah.
Tanks.
Yeah.
And he's like, this tank right here would make enough beer for one person to drink a 6-pack every day for a year.
Wow.
And you're like, what? And there's just rows of them.
Jeez. And that's Stone, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in Escondido.
Yeah.
Down in San Diego.
That's good beer. They have a beer called Ruination, or I think they got rid of it, but they used to have it.
No, they have it.
Ruination was
and
my
then there's
favorite.
one they have where they put the date on the label of when it expires, and then they coincidentally, it's a great marketing thing.
Yeah.
They coincidentally will put like holidays, so it'll be like Christmas, drink by, but the label is drink by. So they make up a new label every time, but it'll be like drink by Valentine's Day, drink by, Memorial Day.
Interesting.
And so it's fun.
Yeah.
And then they had one that was like eating sushi. It's like ginger, and
Really?
it was weird.
Huh.
It didn't. I don't know. That's the thing with beer, is that people get a little crazy putting stuff in. I remember a couple friends of mine brewed beer back in my service advisor days in Washington, and they were like, they almost like wanted you to sign a non-disclosure. They wouldn't reveal their secret ingredient. So they made their beer, they bottled it, and then we drank it, and I'm sitting there with a stomach ache, and then they revealed what their secret ingredient was, and it was chocolate. Like dark chocolate. It gave me a stomach ache. I don't know. It was
I don't like that in beer.
But
There's a brewery up in Northern California called Russian River, and they make a beer called Pliny the Elder, and it's really rare. Like they produce very little amounts of it, and so they sell it to liquor stores, very selective liquor stores around the Bay, and you can only buy one bottle at a time. So you'll go into the guy's liquor store and he'll have 6. But he's only.
Can your wife buy one?
Only allowed. Yeah, so you can do that.
Bring all your friends.
So that's what. So I got a buddy that's really into beer, into the IPA scene, and like he's really into it. And so that's what he'll do. They'll go down, him and a buddy, and maybe another person, and they'll just buy up everything they got. But in the end, just the shelves clean out, and you can't get the stuff anymore. So they create, and then you go to. It's not Santa Rosa. Is it Santa? It might be Santa Rosa, where the brewery is, and there's a line around the building to get into that place. Like all the time. For years it's been that way. Like they created this mystique with this stuff, and like it's been working great for them. But yeah, the beer scene gets crazy. Those guys, like, they'll die to get that stuff.
We should do that with the elite group. So we have our elite coaching group coming up, and we're going to take them to the Tesla factory. I think. So we should stop at one of those breweries up there with them. That'd be fun.
Yeah. But that's a little bit of a hike, but we could go south. There's some cool ones in San Jose down there, which is a lot closer. That would be fun. Yeah. It's going to be fun to have those guys tour the Tesla factory.
I know.
That's going to be crazy.
So this is
going to blow their minds.
This is a thing that you and I bought when we were at a Barbados. So John Barbados is a clothing designer. Gary is wearing his polo shirt right now.
I am actually, yeah.
And shows off your guns. If you're listening to this, let me describe Gary's guns. They look like the legs. They look like the legs of a normal person. So Mr. Barbados auctioned that dude off, and we bought it. So we're going to take the elite group. We get a backstage tour, and then we get to drive them and all that. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it should be cool. I mean, just cool to see that process.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, that's the enemy." They're not the enemy.
No,
the enemy is us.
It's
not moving fast enough.
It's a car company. There have been many of them over the years, so like it's just another car company.
So customer anxiety.
Yeah.
What would you say is the number one thing that we mess up to create anxiety in our customers as an industry?
Number one. Wow.
No, when I say that, you're supposed to say it.
I'm going to say it. I'm hoping that I'm going to hit what you're thinking, but I think
do it in sign language first. Do you know sign language?
No. I just did my sign.
I'll tell you, this is what it is. What does this mean?
Stop.
Wait.
Wait. I just think the mystery of it all is the number one thing. Like,
we make them wait.
Yeah.
Walk around like, where do I find somebody to help me? Where do I go? And then they get decision fatigue and anxiety.
Yep.
And they don't feel important.
It's the unknown too. Like, I mean, that's if anybody's ever been to Disneyland or any of those big theme parks, Disney World, and you show up and you see the line And immediately your blood pressure goes up, your anxiety goes up because you don't know how long it's going to be. You're like, oh, how long is this going to be?
Yeah.
And you're just like, what am I, And so you end up standing in the line, but that's your first instinct is you're like, I don't want to wait there,
Yeah, and I would liken it to like there's a spinning basketball in your head, like on your finger, like, and you're like, oh man, it's gonna, like, you're just worried at that point. It's anxiety. It's all consuming.
Yep. And you think that somebody's going to jump in front of you. That's the other thing I know. Like especially with some of those drives that have 3-4 lanes.
Oh, yeah.
And people are staggered all over the place. And it's like, wait a minute, I was first and somebody jumped in front. And so they're always just like, they're on point. Their head's on a swivel. Like they're like, nobody's getting in front of me.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Makes it hard. I mean, that's the hard thing. Like you got to control that flow.
Yeah. I hate to go into a place and have to wait. Like I hate when you go in to do something and they ignore you, you can't find somebody to help you, like the whole thing.
So I was at Bloomingdale's on Saturday, and that happened to me actually. So my wife, so I needed some shorts, and so my wife said, "Well, let's go shopping." So we went down to Santa Monica, and they got that 3rd Street promenade, and so we went to Nordstrom's first, and they like that's the hub of the mall. I don't want anybody to think that I'm snooty, but that's just where you start. And so
Nordstrom's is snooty?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know. But
if you think Nordstrom's is snooty,
well, you're at Isaiah and John Barbados.
Well, no, but Nordstrom's is like
But anyways, they were all over me there at Nordstrom's, and I just couldn't find what I liked there.
Yeah, they're attack dogs.
Oh yeah, they were just like, "Do you need help? Can I get you a dressing room? What can I do? Let me bring you this, let me bring you that." And it was fantastic. And so we went to we ended up going to Bloomingdale's afterwards. And I couldn't find anything there either, but my wife bought a bunch of stuff. And fortunate for her, we went shopping for me, and we ended up buying her a bag full of stuff. Just
nice.
Somehow, I don't know how that happened, but that happened. Honey, if you're listening, I'm sorry. But
she's not.
She's not listening.
But we do have a lot of listeners.
Anyways, we get, I get my arm full, and so I'm in the dressing room. She says, "Okay, I'll get dressed. You go pay." I said, "Okay, fine." So I walk out, and I'm walking around. I can't find anybody to help me. Like I can't find anybody. And I see people, I see the happy Bloomingdale's employees, but like I walk towards them and like scared rabbits, they would just run away. And so I walked all the way across the store to find somebody that actually would take my money and I could pay them so I could get the heck out of there. And my wife, she gave me her phone so she could text me, find out where I was at. So she was wandering around the store trying to find me. But it was frustrating. It made me, if it wasn't her, if it was my stuff, I would have dropped it and left.
Really?
Oh yeah, because I was frustrated at that point. I don't want to give my money.
Kind of stubborn like that.
But
you needed shorts.
I just want. Yeah, but
what are you gonna do?
Need is a relative term.
You're not afraid to walk around in your tidy whities.
I would cut my sweatpants off. I'd have shorts.
You're a problem solver. That's funny.
But yeah, I mean, it's
that's the funny thing is like their business model is different, right? So
yeah,
Nordstrom's business model is customer service, but they don't have any good brands.
Yeah.
And Bloomingdale's has all the brands. Mm-hmm. So they have Ralph Lauren and, Hugo Boss and all that stuff. So they're cutting back on personnel, trying to run it tight. The brands are the draw. Nordstrom's, the customer service and the follow-up is the draw.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was literally 5 people in the department to every one there was at Bloomingdale's.
Yeah.
That's how they had it positioned.
Yeah. Nordstrom's is
there's got to be a balance.
They're heavy on personnel.
So it's the same thing in a service drive, right? They're worried about expenses, so they're cutting down on personnel. But then meanwhile, their sales are going to suffer because there's nobody there to help the customer, and they get frustrated and they get anxiety, and then they don't buy. So it's like there's got to be some sort of happy medium there.
Yeah, so that would be one of the ones, as I would say, is you need one more advisor than you think you need.
Yeah.
So they can go out, so they're attacking the drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you hire a new advisor, tell them like, hey, your job is to build your clientele, and the non-appointments or the drive-ins or the waiters, you need to run out there and get them, build your clientele, and connect, have them read our books, and learn that they're collecting customers. That's the job of an advisor, because selling stuff is easy.
Yeah.
It's simple.
In the service drive, for sure.
So we have a process. How much of the process are we going to share with them? Because it's kind of secret.
Yeah, I don't know.
The service drive judo.
Judo.
Well,
you give them the front half, maybe.
And the
I don't know
first thing,
I don't know if that came out okay.
the first thing in
I need a little
service
cut here,
drive
Lucas.
judos- What did you say? Just the tip?
I know. But
What did you say?
That's what it said. I just said the front half, but that's what
What does
popped
that
into my
mean?
head. I don't know. It just sounded weird, man.
You need to stop watching too many R-rated movies.
I guess so.
Because the front half doesn't even sound dirty.
No.
So the first thing you want to do, we have this system in our service manager university called Service Drive Judo, and the idea of judo being that you're using their momentum against them,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're keeping it going.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing I know about selling anything or customer experience is the less resistance in the system. Like a system is lube, and the less resistance, the more customers are going to come back and the more money they're going to spend.
Yeah.
Nothing raises your average per customer in any industry more than a good system.
Mm-hmm.
Because when there isn't resistance, customers trust and they spend money.
Yeah.
And so the first thing you want to do is make sure that the customer is greeted and that you take away all decision making. So like literally we in Service Drive Judo have somebody ride out on the curb, greeting the customer and saying, going in lane 1, pull up here, pull into that spot. But then they're like, oh, okay. They have a plan for me.
Right.
So they have nothing to worry about, right? So you're like, imagine if you walked into Bloomingdale's and like, okay, we want you to look around, and then when you find something you like, come over here to stall 2 or see the big number 2 or something, right? You'd be like, oh, okay. And even if you had to wait under the number 2 for a long time, you know that you're in your designated area and there's a purpose.
Yeah.
It's when you don't know and you're wondering and there isn't a system, then that's when customers' minds, like you're saying, I was just going to leave.
Yeah.
If it wouldn't have been for my wife, I was leaving.
Yep.
Right? And so I think the most important part of that is greeting them right away and taking away any decision making. And then the flip side of that is when you take away their decision making and you tell them what to do, you're in control. And now you're conditioning them to do what you say. So when you say maintain your car, when you say you need to fix this, they're like, hey, everything he told me worked. And so I'm doing what he says or she says.
Right.
And so you're conditioning. It's like, it's an NLP thing, but it really is, you're building trust and you're putting them on that track. If that makes sense. Did I explain that right?
No, it makes sense. Perfect sense. When we were so to go back to my shopping experience, when at Nordstrom's, so she said, let me set up a dressing room for you. And I got you in dressing room number, whatever the heck it was. And I forgot.
Does your wife go in the dressing room with you?
Yeah. Yeah. She goes in she's got to check everything.
Any action in the
Gotta
dressing room?
She's got to make sure that everything matches because I'm colorblind.
But any action?
No, bro. We're 50 years old.
You're not 50 yet. You're
Pretty close.
47?
48.
48.
48,
2
yeah.
years to have fun in the dressing
man.
room.
48.
Why is 50? I'm telling you right now, mark it down that on my 50th birthday, I'm going to fool around in a dressing
In a
room.
dressing room. All right.
With my future wife over there.
Well, maybe that'll be my bucket list. But
Okay,
anyway,
so you're fooling around with
back
your wife
to my
in the dressing
story.
room.
Yes.
Number 2, dressing room number 2.
So we Nordstrom, she says, go to dressing room, whatever. And so we're getting ready to walk in. So we kind of get everything. And then we walk into the dressing room area. And Kat asked me, she says, do you remember what dressing room we were in? And I said, nah, I don't remember what she said. So we looked and she hung one of the shirts that I had. She hung it on the door. And the door opened a little bit and hung it. So I recognized the shirt. I go, oh, that's us. Walk in. Sure enough, all my stuff's in there. I'm perfect. Let's go. And then we were at Bloomie's. And same thing, like we're dressing room, whatever. And then I walk around, I get everything. And then I walk in there and there's nothing. And so then we grab the dude and we're like, hey, bro, where's the dressing room you had us in? And he's like, oh, I think it's this one. And he goes to open it and somebody's like, no, I'm in here.
So your stuff was in there?
No, he just didn't know what it was. He had no idea which one he chose. And so he just was trying them all until he finally found one that was open. And then, our stuff was in there. So I was like, man, come on, bro.
That's funny.
But it's that thing, right? So it's that, you were
lose
saying,
trust.
Yeah, you just start to break down after
So
a little
then
while.
think about it in that situation. You come out and they're like, and you like, this is the thing I hate too about trying on clothes. So you put something on, right? Mm-hmm. And you're like, you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, this doesn't quite look that good. And then you come out and they're like, oh my God, that looks amazing. The salesperson, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And so that person at Nordstrom's who did everything right, and they say that, you might give them a little leeway. But the other guy, you're just like, I can't get away from this guy quick enough.
Right. I don't want to
He's
sell.
telling me that this stupid shirt looks good and it doesn't.
No.
It's like a size too small.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd rather have an armful of clothes and then just walk into a dressing room that's vacant rather than have him try every door until he finds one. That's not a benefit.
No.
You know? So that's
funny.
So I wanted to kick him. And so that's funny because that's an interesting analogy, because that's the same thing that happens in us in our industry, is that when they get there, do they want to spend time with you? Have we built enough of a good system that they feel relaxed and they want to stay there and have a chat with you, or they just want to get the hell out of there as fast as they can, you know? Like, which place do we put them in? And I think the other one, like you were saying, is the best, right?
Yeah. And so what happens too with the customer anxiety is there's kind of two paths that happen. And unfortunately in our industry, the wrong path happens more than not. But, you know, if you can have a huge average per ticket. It doesn't matter what kind of shop you have, but the thing that happens to customers is they come in and they wonder and they worry, and then they start to get anxiety, and then the advisors aren't selling even if they're offering, so then they get more aggressive on the selling, and then it really scares the customers away. And really, like, I've always thought this, because when I was an advisor, selling was the easiest part.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, hey, yeah, and Gary, by the way, you need to do this and this. Oh, okay, how much? This. And that's it.
Right.
But you see these advisors, and they're going down this, oh, well, you know, the viscosity. And like, if you hear a service advisor explaining all that, they don't have trust.
Yeah.
And then they're pushing too hard. And then the customer's BS detector just goes ding, 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 ding. And then they just want to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, customers don't decline brakes because they don't need brakes. They decline brakes because they don't trust you.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, we see that all the time. They need brakes. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're trading the car in tomorrow, they need brakes. And it's there, and it's convenient, and you mess that up.
Yeah.
And it's all trust.
Yeah, if they trust you, they'll buy it. I think about that with nitrogen all the
You're
time.
not selling something that they don't need. They need it.
Yeah. Or it has value, one or the other. Like it's
you
going to
don't
help
need
them.
shorts. Like you said, you can cut off some.
Cut off my sweatpants.
Yeah. I mean, you want shorts, but in our industry, like, most of the time you need what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But the advisors have to go into this long thing because the system doesn't support them, and then they're overselling and pushing too hard.
Yeah.
And so really that whole system, when it works right, is very quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. And people, I mean, they wanted, I believe firmly that people want to take care of their cars, especially like here in LA, you know, that we're in our cars a lot. And people want to take care. They don't want to drive a car that's going to break down on them. But we're so afraid of that, you know, that because of the anxiety that builds up, and then we're going to try to sell to them, and it's just a powder keg waiting to go off. We don't do anything about it. But I think if you do it, you set it up right, like you said, you get your service drive judo in place, then the selling part becomes a lot easier, and the customers are happier, and they're driving a car that's dependable, and they feel good about it, you know. And that whole thing, it's a positive cycle, and stops the negative, you know.
Yeah, and it's kind of a hard thing to explain, but in Service Manager University, we actually drive through a service drive from the customer's point of view too. Mm-hmm. So we explain it, and then we experience it as a customer on video, so you can kind of understand it, because it's much easier to understand if you have the picture, you know.
Yeah, if you can see it, for sure. Yeah, it's simple, but it's genius at the same time.
Yeah, so maybe, I don't know, we could throw up like a map of it or something if you want.
Okay.
Do you want to give them a map?
We can. Yeah, I got no problem doing that.
It'll give you some good information, and it'll tease you a little bit too. Mm-hmm. It'll spark some ideas. How do we put it up for them?
So I'll drop a link. So we'll put a link on the show notes that they can get to it, and I'll put it in our center where they can download it from. So if they hit the link, they'll go in there. I'll put a button on the website. We could tweet it. Actually, we'll be tweeting it. Maybe I'll have a special bonus if somebody buys it or somebody downloads it from the tweet link. I just want to see if somebody will.
It's funny. Our buddy Steve from Galpin Honda, elite member, he sent me a screenshot of a tweet, and like, I don't know, I'm not on Twitter. I don't know.
You're on Twitter.
Well, no,
you are on
people,
Twitter.
We have people that are on Twitter. It's also, everybody listening, like, if you hit me on Facebook or LinkedIn, most of the time that's not me. Sometimes it's me, but rarely it's me.
Yeah.
Somebody here in the office. But we're not. Yeah. So there was a tweet that didn't look that great. He brought me to brought it to my attention, which is very nice of him.
Uh-oh.
I wound it up.
Did you?
We're not going to tweet anymore until we can learn how to make things look good.
What was the tweet? Like April showers bring May flowers, or what was it?
No, it's for the podcast, but all the spacing, and it just looked like a kindergartner did it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. Like a kindergartner drank a bunch of tequila and did it, which is not what anybody. I'm not condoning kindergartners drink tequila, but I'm saying that's what it looked like.
So that's
our Twitter, which I never wanted. You talked me into it, but
you have to have
our
it.
clients are policing it for us, and it's got to look good.
Yeah.
Like, do you tweet a picture or you just tweet a saying like Trump does?
You can do both, but I think tweeting sayings are better. Actually, I don't think Twitter's not as image intensive.
Do you really think this social media thing's going to last?
Oh yeah, for sure. Is that not a real question? Do we want to debate?
You think Facebook's going to stay around for a while?
This Facebook thing. Actually, I think Facebook might die, but
what's going to kill Facebook?
Something will take its place.
Snapchat?
There's just too many ads right now, so something's gonna happen. It can't.
What about
hold
YouTube?
anymore.
Do you think that'll keep going?
YouTube will keep going. I think it has found a really good balance of ads versus content. So I think they're doing a really good job. But I think Facebook's rough.
So Twitter will be around.
I think Twitter's. Yeah, people like Twitter because it's instantaneous. Like I can tweet you something. It's fast. It is perfect for our new attention deficit society where it's just blips of information really, really fast. People
cracks me up when we're out to lunch or out to dinner with some of our employees and they're taking a picture of what they're eating and they're gonna snap it or tweet. I'm like,
yeah,
who cares what you're having for lunch?
Yeah, I know,
but people care.
I know,
it's funny.
It is funny. I know my daughter does that all the time.
Yeah,
and puts it on her story. She's got her Snapchat story.
Snapchat,
Yeah, all the time.
Can we tweet what I have for lunch every day? Nobody cares.
As we unpack our lunch boxes.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
The Twitter went array. I still don't have the password to the Twitter,
no.
by the way. That thing I wanted to put up, I haven't been able to put it up. I wanted to tweet once.
So
we get that from me?
Well, yeah, we have a little. So
do you have the password?
We contracted with an Asian company, and they have a little sweatshop, and it is a bunch of little 5-year-old actually kids, and they're
drinking tequila.
They're chained to a desk, and all they do is tweet for you all day long.
What?
And they're drinking
we
tequila.
We don't tweet that much, do we? No. But do you have the password?
I don't have it, actually. I don't have it.
How do we get it?
I got to get.
We're running this place, Gary. Come on.
I know. What the heck?
How do we get it?
I got to get a hold of Paul. Get it from Paul.
Another funny thing going on here at the Chris Collins Circus Inc.
Chris Collins Circus.
This is funny, and this has affected Lucas, our producer, creative director, and just all around handsome devil.
Swiss Army knife.
Is we recorded sexual harassment training.
Yes, we did.
Everybody in context, or it's a product that we're putting out that doesn't have our name on it, but it's, in the state of California and in places, sexual harassment is mandatory for employees. And so we have, our online training is trackable. And so we're putting it up there so you don't have to have a lawyer come in and do it. You can do it online, right? And so our lawyer buddy did it, and we scripted it, and it's really good.
Yep.
But what's funny is everybody around here is scared to death that everything is sexual harassment.
Yeah.
You steal a French fry from Jair, it's sexual harassment because everything is sexual harassment in context of it's all about the other person's view, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you steal a French fry, and if the other person doesn't like it, it's sexual harassment.
If it's unwanted, and you've made it known, and and you feel like your job's in jeopardy, then that's how it is.
If you don't give me that French fry, you're fired.
Yeah.
That's sexual harassment, or that's food harassment?
Well, I mean, it's
French fry harassment.
It's French fry harassment. I don't know.
It's not playing just the tip.
I mean,
it's a completely different thing, isn't it? French fries and sex.
Oh my God.
Are you such a carb loader, what would you say, like a carbaholic, that French fries and sex are the same to you? Because they're completely different to me.
I think they're different, but I think that that's a harassment.
What about onion rings?
They could have a double entendre.
No, it doesn't.
No?
No.
It's just a French fry is a French fry?
Yeah. Ketchup is ketchup. Like, no.
Okay.
There's no.
All right.
Everybody's too sensitive now.
If it's an onion ring. The story. Did Dave do a skit? The story of the onion ring and the French fry?
Oh, no. This is the other thing. You guys listening to this are going to love the sexual harassment training because we acted out.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
There's somebody like acting it out.
Man.
Somebody's patting somebody on the butt. Like,
That's awesome.
we have to give you visuals of what sexual harassment is because that's what we do.
Oh,
So
man.
Lucas shot it in great detail, 3 cameras, right? And so we acted out.
If anybody's watched sexual harassment training
then
in the past.
Dave stands up and he's like, so the reason why that
Dave's a straight man in
if she
scene.
would have said I like it, but she said no.
There was some girl on guy sexual harassment too. Girl sexually harassing a guy. I saw one of the skits. I was
I
like,
like that.
progressive. It's 2017, dang it.
Yeah, that's a lot like the teachers that sleep with the students. Like that never happened to me. Like,
Yeah.
that's like a foreign world to me.
Yeah.
But
Bring
I guess it happens.
Bring it on.
But I've never felt. I guess actually, there's been a couple times where I had to stand up and like end something.
Yeah, nah. We had this teacher, Miss Huffman. Oh my God.
No, I'm saying with employees, not with yeah.
Yeah.
I probably couldn't tell the story in here, but I had a girl once that was in charge of my BDC, and she was saying some stuff, and I just stood up and opened my door. I'm like, we can't talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, we had some of that stuff going on.
But it's funny.
But in high school, I would have loved to have been harassed by my teacher, Miss Huffman.
Why didn't they ask us to be in the skits?
It's weird.
We're not in any of it.
I don't think we could have contained.
We couldn't have stopped laughing.
Oh man, I wouldn't have been able to do it. Just watching this stuff was pretty bad.
It's pretty funny.
Golly, fun. So watch out for that. That's coming your way.
Okay, so the moral of this, the big show is that to reduce customer anxiety, the most important thing is to not make them think. Take it away right at the beginning. Give them a plan. Give them direction. Take control.
Yep.
Tell them where to go, what to do. Make them feel safe.
Yeah, for sure.
And then sales fall out the other end.
Yeah, that's it.
It's that easy, really.
Yeah, don't have anything to add to that. It's easy.
And then you don't need trunks this summer. Just cut off a pair of sweatpants.
That's right.
Save money. What do you do for flip-flops? Cardboard?
Little planks of wood.
Did you buy flip-flops?
Balls of wood. I have some from last year. I don't need new flip-flops. I'm good.
Nice.
I don't wear them that much.
Are you planning on a lot of beach pool time this summer?
I live by the beach, of course. Yes,
Yeah, your
absolutely.
building has a pool, right?
What? Yeah, my building has an amazing pool. My pool's like a huge meet. It's like going to Vegas every weekend. It's crazy.
Really?
Oh, it's
How
nuts.
come you don't invite me down there?
You got to come down. And my place overlooks the pool. Like I can just sit there and be part of
In
the
your
show.
underwear.
Yeah, it's
Just like,
awesome.
hey, Big Daddy Gary. Big Daddy Gary.
Yeah, but it's
watching the pool party.
It's fun.
That's kind
man.
of creepy, actually.
It is a little creepy.
You can walk down there.
I walk down there and they go, is that
Like,
creepy
really?
guy
Do
from
they
the
have like
window?
a DJ at the pool, or what do you mean?
They'll sometimes, yeah, and they'll have
What?
music and it gets nuts down there. People bring booze and there's a huge barbecue and everything. It's a show and it's
I don't know.
TV.
That's
It's
not
fun.
really for us, though, is it?
It
It sounds like a young kid's
It is a young kids thing, but I go down there every once in a while. There's some people that our age that go down and hang out, so we'll cordon off a little area and just go sit down there for a little while. It's fun. It's like going to Vegas every once in a while. It's fun.
Yeah, I haven't done a Vegas pool in a long time. Like, that seems like a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, at this age, I'm gonna get the cabana. I don't want to fight for a lounge chair.
Bro, I was always getting the cabana.
Yeah, well, I wasn't, so I'm modifying my
I'm
behavior.
not waiting in line.
No.
I won't go.
Yeah, it's just too much. Nope.
I'm such a prima donna.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. It's like, I want to have fun, but I don't want to deal with all that stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't sound fun.
Nah.
Good. Well, I hope everybody has a good week. Thank you. Thanks for listening when we were sick. We really appreciate it. We
Yeah.
had a lot of subscribers and listeners even then. And we thank you for that. Without you, we are nothing.
Yeah. 1,000 downloads while we were sick, so we appreciate that. Thank you.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Taking over the world, service drive
Revolution.
I almost said service drive judo. Yeah.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
Check the midnight train.
Going anywhere. Wow, your voice is gone.
It's gone, bro.
We
It's
will
gone.
see you next time on the Revolution.
Peace.